Hey everybody, so make sure I'm recording. Hey everybody, we're in Hobbs, New Mexico. It is Friday, and they said the city hall closes at noon, so it is now about 11:40. We're gonna try to 11:48. We got about 10 minutes to get in here, and hopefully we can get this paperwork that shows the history of Hobbs and find out how they were able to acquire such a large swath of federal and state land, and then restrict access from the public. We do know that it has to do with World War II. The area was purchased by the city, leased to the Army Air Force during World War II, and had a 25-year lease, $1 a year, and a possible renewal, but we do not know. Economic Development Corporation of LA County. Let's see. We don't know really how that happened, and what happened after the lease had been fulfilled. So now we're really interested in finding out more about that. And city clerk. Hello. Yes, I could pick up a book about the history of Hobbs.
Yeah.
Oh, it must have got cold.
Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon. And then, can I get a copy of that? You sure can.
You know the area that I'm speaking of specifically, though, right?
Well, but
So yeah, what I'm looking at more, I need the lease. Okay, I need the lease agreement between the Army Air Force and the City of Hobbs that was signed on February 4th, 1942, and presented to the public on February 7th, 1942.
okay.
So that lease agreement was for 20.
So what was that date?
Oh, yes, ma'am. February 4th, 1942 was when it was signed.
Thank you.
1942.
Yeah, and then it was presented to the public on February 7th. But the February 4th, it was signed.
Okay. So do you have access to internet?
I sent you an email already.
To me?
To K. Salas.
Yes. What that email? What you were requesting?
I sent the, first off, I'm not in my suit and tie, but when we do an on-camera interview with someone who could represent the city, I sent a bunch of questions. Was it to you? Are you Kate?
It was Kristen.
Kristen, okay. I talked to Kristen, and I sent her a series of questions that I wanted to ask a representative of the city concerning the area that was federal land, actually it was city land that was leased to the federal government during World War II. And then subsequently, but it was acquired through eminent domain from the Huston family.
Okay. So do you have access to the internet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So what I'm going to request for you to do, if you will, go through the IPRA process, and that's the Information of Public Records.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I did that already.
Okay. So then I got to wait till Kristen gets here, and I'll read it. And
Okay.
then we'll process it.
Well, it was a really, really easy request. I came down here because you said you closed early today.
Correct.
And tomorrow is Saturday, so you're not open.
Correct.
Sunday, you're not open.
Correct.
I am a traveling data analyst. I have to get the paperwork that I need from political subdivisions and then keep going. I can't stick around.
So by law, we do have up to 3 days to provide you that record. So today you submitted it. So today is day 1. So then you're going to go to...
Is there anybody here that represents the city of Hobbs?
We do, sir, but you have to go through the process.
No, I understand. Well, by New Mexico law, this is the process. So by New Mexico law, I can be just talking to you, make a records request.
Yes.
So when you start referring me to laws, I know the open records laws like very well.
Okay, so then you would know that you submitted it today, and then we have 3 days to provide you that information.
If the records are readily available within the city hall, I should be able to inspect those records on site.
Yes, and so I really...
So I'm asking you if they're not.
I have to read the email when she comes back.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm just why I'm giving you an oral rendition of the email because I'm the one that typed it. I can honor that. Here, hold this. I want to look at that. Yes, ma'am. I mean, it's an easy record to get. Don't they just have a microfilm or something they can just print it out, or on a computer? I don't understand What's so difficult? That's why I'm asking. Is there some? It's the city clerk.
I think that's what she's checking.
Yeah, because I ain't trying to give nobody a hard time. I need this record, and I'm not trying to stick around at Hobbs, especially when they have ordinances against our lifestyle.
Yeah, my dad's just supposed to be here Sunday. For next Sunday. Like a UPS store.
Yeah, I just need the information I need, and it's not come down to City Hobbs and then wait 3 days and then no.
Acquiring the land.
Okay, so I read. So in this book, it says the land chosen by the Department was the ranch lying along the west side of Hobbs-Livingston Highway, about 7 miles northwest of Hobbs city limits, belonging to the early homesteader Nat Huston, and managed by his son George and Harry Huston. The Huston Ranch house had originally been a line camp shack for the A Ranch owned by Joseph Hall Graham, Nat Huston's father-in-law. Over the years, the house was remodeled and enlarged by the Huston family, who also built the usual collection of ranch buildings, such as corrals, stables, and other outbuildings. When remodeling the house some years ago, Sally Seed, Nat's granddaughter, and her husband Charlie found wooden boards from food boxes dating 1915, which are used because of the scarcity of lumber in Lee County. The ranch house property was a distinctive feature on the otherwise barren barren landscape. Huston had developed a
Okay, so we do have the records here.
Okay.
But we did just show it to the city attorney who's present, and he said that these records are not readily available.
They're not?
They're not. But we can get them for you.
Okay.
We do have up to 3 business days to provide that. So today's Friday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Certainly.
So,
I'll stay around that long. Your ordinance doesn't prevent it. So basically, so we're clear, the ordinances here allow for people who are traveling in RVs to stay for up to 2 weeks at your parks. You have ordinances requiring RVs to stay within an RV park. The 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution provides that no political subdivision can force me into servitude. So if I have to pay monetary money to stay places, then I'd have to work in the economy of that area, and there's a taxation, especially for a lodger's tax. But no area of this country can force me into any taxation or into any servitude to pay that taxation. So I'm very specific on the constitutional ways that we do things. Political subdivisions.
So what is your question? What's your concern?
Did the City of Hobbs use federal tax dollars to buy federal property, or in this case,
Is that one of the questions here?
Yeah, it certainly is. And also, the biggest question is when they did eminent domain to take the Huston's property, that there was a lease with the War Department. They took the land, and then what happened at the end of that lease? So the lease wouldn't be permanent. It was 25 years.
Correct. But until we provide these records, I could not answer any of these questions.
And you have nobody in this entire place that knows that.
Go through the process,
There's just nobody. There's no city manager here.
He is actually not in.
And there's no city mayor.
And he's actually not in as well. And so you can be reached at 469-554-0970.
I can.
And you have the email.
And we have the email. And so we'll just provide these records when they're available, and we have up to 3 business days.
Since we're doing it all formally, I'm sure you understand that I have a bunch of other records that I have to go and review if I'm doing the research. No. So since we're doing that, I have to send you a few more requests. And I don't like to inundate, especially political subdivisions, with open records requests. But the open records requests, if we're going to do this formally, and I can't just inspect records, then I'm going to be sending you a few more today.
And that's what we do here, sir.
And then tomorrow I'll be sending you a few more.
Yes.
And then when I get those back and I'll review those, I'll be giving you some more.
Do what you need to do, sir. That is the process.
And so are we clear what records he's asking for? Because these are, what I'm seeing here, these are just questions.
Because it says, if you read the opening line of that, I'll tell you why it's questions. I talked to Kristen about that. You want to know the blatant question? Are y'all stealing money from the American people? Or stealing land from the American people? That's the question. If you want to hear it blatantly, are you stealing land from the American people?
So exactly which records is it that you would like to have a copy of?
There's a second one probably, the second email you got there. It says
lease
that
agreement between the city and the Army Air Force. Okay?
Yeah, lease agreement. And then I think there's one in there about the state too. No, Well, write that down then. Also, the one between the state for McAdams Park. I want the lease agreement from however the
And if you'd like to modify your request.
Absolutely, I can modify it right here. Absolutely. It's funny how quickly things become contentious when you're trying to get information. Oh, thank you so much, ma'am. Let's put it right there. Now, all public meetings that were discussed when it comes to things like the 2-week time limitations at McAdams Park for RV dwellers. There's a rule, I guess it was included. I'm pointing this from me because I don't want to point towards y'all. Yeah, there was a rule, I guess, established within the park system that says the RV dwellers can stay for up to 2 weeks. All right, and so that rule itself, the public would have had input on that,
Correct.
not just the private business owners that run RV parks, though.
If it was an ordinance of the city, then yes, the public.
It doesn't look like there's an ordinance.
Okay.
The ordinance of the city that exists is 1844, I believe, and it requires the RVs be in an RV park. Okay, and then. So what we're looking, I'll be honest with you, I'm not trying to be contemptuous, but the data I'm looking for could very much show misdeeds. Okay, so I'm being clear. It could show misconduct. It could show misdeeds. It could show nefarious actions. Okay, so I have my defenses up. The other people might have their defenses up. You know what I mean? So as I inquire into this inquiry, I'm already looking for people to try to shut me down.
Well, we're here to provide
Okay.
records. We're going to provide these documents that you've asked for here. And if you have any questions about those records, then you can submit those to us, or you can request additional records.
And there's nobody here in the city on Friday at noon, at like 11:45, almost noon.
Excuse me, sir.
No, sir.
Oh yeah.
Not right now, there's not.
Not right now. At noon time, we're all shutting down at
Okay.
noon.
And, I'm sorry. Represent yourself, please.
My name is Sean Williams, Fire Marshal City Hall.
Fire Marshal City Hall.
So
you're a civilian.
No, I work for the government, but I'm.
But you're civilian, though. You're not law. You're not.
I'm telling you that the reason why nobody's here is because we're going in.
You haven't finished the qualified questions. You're just like cutting me off. I asked you.
But I'm letting you know that we're closing at noon.
Okay.
So can you wrap it up so we all can go and have our rest of our Friday?
So are you a civilian or a law enforcement officer?
I'm not. I'm a civilian.
Okay, listen. That's all I wanted to know.
I understand that,
Okay.
but I understand this stuff right here. Let's finish your business.
And
so
you
we
said
can
you're
go.
the fire marshal.
Yes, sir.
Name was
Sean Williams.
Sean Williams.
Yes, sir.
All right. I just want you to make sure you understand that your authority subsides within the fire marshal's area. You're a volunteer or maybe a salary paid city employee, but you have no law enforcement capabilities unless you did go through basic and you got certified through law
Yes, sir.
enforcement.
Yes, sir.
But you
You're
didn't do
good.
that.
You're
So
right.
when
You're
you
totally
approach
right.
the civilians, when you approach the public
Yes, sir.
with a means of authority, your authority doesn't exist.
Okay.
It's just two people talking.
Yes,
So
sir.
don't talk to me like my father, because
Yes,
you're
sir.
not my father.
But let's back up a little
Okay.
bit. Let's back up a little bit.
But you're not my
Hey,
father. Okay,
hold
we'll
on,
back
hold on.
up.
Let's
If you want to
back
talk to me
up.
like a grown man,
Let's back up.
and you're a grown man, we're the same age.
Reason why I come talk to you because would you talk to your mother like you talking to these two young ladies?
If my mom was a city clerk, what do you mean? Does
No,
that say
the
anything
way
mean?
you raised your voice to these young ladies.
I
that's the
raised
reason
my
why I can't
voice.
stand here. So
You mean I raised
I'm just
my
letting you
voice?
know.
What do you mean by
I'm just
that?
letting you know.
I've never been hostile with anyone. And that's why the camera's for us, so that way I can
Yes,
prove
sir.
that.
I agree.
No, I would never get hostile with anyone.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I would never be hostile. Never, okay? So don't accuse me of hostility.
I
That would
did
be
not
rude and
accuse you.
inconsiderate.
I never accused
No,
you
that's
of
literally what you just did.
that. Okay.
So, and then that's why law enforcement certifications are so important. Assumed authority. Yet another example. Now, since we're in City Hall and they're closing at noon, we're going to go over here to Commissioner's area. as you can see, we're on to something here.
I'm reading this. I'm just confused.
The City Hall Annex also closing is a whole kit and caboodle. There's the Economic Development Corporation of Lee County and the City Hall Annex. Now, I don't know. Maybe the whole thing's closing at noon. I'm not really sure. But the hostility from that fire marshal was something other than kind. There's nothing on the first floor. Let's go up to the second floor. They might be all closing at noon. I'm not sure. He didn't. That guy wasn't going to tell me. He was just mean. I don't see anyone here. So this is the economic development. They would actually probably know more than anybody. Hello. Are y'all closing at noon as well? I just got a quick question. I hope it's quick, because the city couldn't answer it for me. And I won't point my camera at you. This is not an audit. I'm a data analyst. We're researching the phenomenon of American land getting converted into political subdivisions and then being restricted from American citizens. So the McAdams Park actually came up on the radar. The Army Air Force base behind it that was acquired from the city by the city in '42 because of World War II. Are you familiar with the area? Because
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a lease that was drawn up for a 25-year lease. That was done by eminent domain, was taken from the Huston family, a property they'd had since at least 1915, because there's some wood there from 1915. So they spent generations building up land. Then it was acquired by eminent domain for wartime, for Army Air Force training, and then it was decommissioned. And I guess the city had purchased the land, part of the war agreement during that with the Department of Defense or whatever. But that lease was 25 years. When the lease was up and they were leasing it out for $1 a year to the Army Air Force, what was the subsequent, how did it go from being that to being closed off from the public completely?
It's no longer closed off to the public.
It is.
Right here.
Okay. So this right here was...
This is all of that land in Hobbs Industrial Air Park Subdivision Phase 1.
And there's nothing that is restricted from the public?
No, all of this is all we're trying to sell this at any moment in time. Obviously,
Really?
this is done. This is all going to end up being industrial.
Right, sure.
So yeah, we have.
But it's for sale because they're done with it now. They don't have any uses for it.
This is
but
the industrial air base.
Yeah, I'm
that we
getting
have.
mixed messages because I got
Is that
messages
what all
from...
this is?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's what I wrote back in, and it was open, right? And then I talked to the trail supervisor. I don't want to keep you any longer than I have to. I'm going to give you done in a
This
second.
is all for sale.
Right, so the trail supervisor, they have all kinds of like rules.
Saying that there was no trespassing and it was.
Well, and there's
it was
not, because
private.
this is city-owned property.
Right.
And the deal is that so the runway is still there and it is in rough condition. So people go out there and they do donuts and stuff like that. So it's fenced off for safety purposes.
Okay.
There's also a racetrack out there.
Okay.
Drag strip. Yeah, all that land's for sale.
And then now, I'm a venturer, man, so I like to know about America really well. And what I want to know is, this stuff still out there that can be seen?
This land is leased every year for 30 days
Right.
to the industrial to the Air Society, Soaring Society.
The Soaring Society, I saw a building like that right by there.
Yeah, that land's all
And
for sale.
they're just flying planes, that's what they do, is fly
Yeah,
planes.
they just use the runway. It gets
Okay.
maintenance that month. They clear all the weeds and everything out, and they take it out and you fly. You can rent this land if you wanted to for the day, have a party. They do concerts out there.
Oh, so if I just wrote out there to document what's out there, that's not what he meant by no trespassing.
Yeah, if you
What
go
do you-
document it, they're not going to do anything. But there's nothing there. It's just open.
It is, okay.
Well, and then
Because I saw the
there's a-
airstrip.
It
Way
says
out
a
here,
lot of
there's
these
a
buildings were taken out.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's
So the
buildings
old
for
Huston
safety.
house was taken out?
almost everything's gone.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
there's pieces of it there, like it's been torn down. But
Okay.
and there's graffiti all over. But out here, there's another reason is because there's a prison.
That's what that was in the distance. It's
Yeah.
a prison. Okay, I told you it looked like a prison. I didn't know what exactly it was.
So
Okay.
that's a lot of the reason why things are restricted because of the prison.
In case of prison, so that way
And
people
then
can
if,
gotcha.
if the airplanes are there, you cannot get out there because that's a safety hazard.
Mm-hmm.
And if the runway hadn't been maintenance in a while, they would cut you off.
Gotcha.
Especially if they're
But there was no trespassing signs at that one little area, the gates open to where you can actually. That's why I was
you can
able.
go out there. So what they do is that there's 2 runways. One of them is this big.
Right.
The other one is this big.
Okay, I saw this one. I think the big, huge.
So the other one, this is old. This is really, really old. This is what.
Which way? Where's McAdams Park? Right here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. This is all I saw. There's a gate right here that goes in.
Yeah. So this is the runway. This again, all of this is no longer in existence as far as this. But
okay. So this was the paved area I saw.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
This here, they use it for CDL training for trucks.
Okay. So that's a lot. You know how government is, man.
Yeah.
Nobody knows everything.
Well, they don't know it because they don't deal with it. We deal with this every day.
I saw economic development, but I bet they know exactly what's going on here.
So the city.
Do they have a number on what they want to sell that for?
Oh man, it's like
they want a lot for it.
It's like $1 billion. Like it's over.
But they acquired it for $26,000.
I mean, inflation, bro.
Inflation.
Well, it's government. Usually that's what they hear on private sales.
But that's why it's sanctioned for industrial, because if we get a right tenant in, we'll sell it to them for $1 because they're going to bring in 500 jobs and more money.
Okay, so it all depends on how the development can work.
But if you were to try to buy it as a personal developer, they would charge you billions of dollars.
Right.
It's
because of the amount of land it is.
They got it for $26,000.
Yeah, $26,000. Yeah. Well, they got no.
There's multiple families.
They got a bond issue for $26,000. They did dispossession.
67 to the Huston family.
Yeah, they only get $6,700 to the Huston family, which is this. So
they ended up getting
$8,500. But they said it happened in district court. We can't find any court records on this.
Well, and a lot of the deal is that a lot of these families to this day, they said, "Oh, we got this land," but then so the city got this land, but they got this land.
Oh, they're just.
It mentions that they moved all the
deal about
is
that this was years and years and years ago in a small oil town.
Well, there's people still alive today. They're you know what I mean? It's not.
Oh, I mean, there's people that still.
It's not 2 generations ago. It's 1 generation ago.
I mean, but you're talking about people that have lived in this area their entire lives, and so they're
right.
I mean, they can give the land up for whatever.
Certainly, but it did sound like the Hustons weren't really okay with it. Like they were a little pissed off about it.
I don't know.
Because they said they had been acquired. They had been on the land for 40 years or more, or something like that, and they'd been building land, and they had. So it sounded like from the sounds of the old history that they were kind of pissed.
I
would be too. Yeah, sure.
But that's times, and that happens to everybody, and so
there's not a lot of times that the cities have been able to acquire federal lands to expand their city, and then restrict it from what used to be an RV park there. And there's not a lot of times.
The RV park is still there. All of the hookups are still there. You just can't. I mean, there's more electricity.
Can't use them. Yeah.
There's more electricity in that area, so you can use them as long as there is something going on.
Oh.
The RV park is still.
Okay, so if you were to rent the whole thing,
there's still an RV park that's just south that's absolutely better.
Oh, it is better. The issue is that they put regulations in there. So I work with homeless advocates. I mean, I was a DOD analyst for a while, and then now I work with homeless advocates and poor people advocates. Yep. RV dwellers are often lump summed into homeless people, especially no matter how many properties they own. If they're not at the property, all of a sudden they're homeless. So we have to deal with the same type of bigotries and biases through usually political subdivisions.
And unfortunately, in Lee County, if you're in an RV, you probably make more money than most people that live in houses because you work in oil.
Oh yeah, but I don't work in oil. No, I'm a data analyst. But and I did make good money when I was working for the DOD, but the private sector doesn't pay. It's volunteer, most of it. Yeah. Yeah. So well, it did pay. Private sector plays really well when I'm doing something other than what I'm doing now. But when you're advocating for poor people, you don't get a lot of money out of it.
I worked in the United Way.
Yeah, so you know exactly what I mean. They bring in a lot of money, you just don't see a lot of it. All right.
All that land it's for sale.
All right.
I mean, like I said, we work.
It's for sale at city land, and as long as there's not no trespassing signs posted, you can explore.
Oh yeah, go out there, have fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And what was your name again?
My name is AJ.
AJ. Thank you so much. You got a card, AJ? Let me grab a card from you. You don't?
Yeah.
They didn't make you that cool?
Because those truck drivers, they're driving fast.
Oh, so they do drive out there. It's used. Oh, okay. Yeah. I gotcha. All right, so that's interesting. That's a very much of an update from what we already knew. Do you have a zoning map here just so you can hand me?
Not a recent one.
Nothing. You got that map?
I don't. That's the only one we have. That thing is.
But would that be in here, maybe?
That thing is original.
Oh,
That's
okay.
an original print.
It is that, but it's basically the same thing.
This is all we would be able to give. But all of our website, if you go to energyplex.com, it's all there.
Awesome, man. Dude, hey, Jay, you're wonderful, bub.
Oh no, Energyplex Park.
Energyplex. So that's the name of that park, Energyplex Park. Okay. Thank you so much. That's awesome. See, that's good service. That's what you want to know. That's pretty cool. Well, it might be important.
Hello.
So, guys, that's basically what we just learned was that there is a whole lot of bullcocky being spread, maybe from not understanding or just not being privy to that, and people not understanding what's going on. But you know what was most alarming was the hostility that we witnessed when coming from the fire chief, fire marshal, with no law enforcement credentials whatsoever. So that was quite disturbing and alarming, and we'll have to follow up on that at a later time. So yeah, Hobbs, New Mexico. Land acquisition, for free.